Ant Edwards announcing his arrival to America of, oh no, I'm not just a fun story. I might be the guy this year. And if he wins a championship, I'm going to be a little upset. And I'll tell you why. I love Ant Edwards. Big Ant Edwards guy. I will not name names, but there's somebody that you would say you respect that gives basketball takes. That last year I said, I love Ant Edwards. They said, I'm out. And I was like, well, he's 21. Seems a little early to be out, but okay. I will be upset because I watch regular season basketball. I get league pass, and my jackass co-host watches nothing, and he's like, yeah, I'll take Ant Edwards over SGA and Luka. Just saying it, and he might end up being right because that guy might get his first ring amongst those three players. It's early, I know, but I don't think that isn't in the back of my mind.
The bragging rights that come with this.
That as happy as I'll be for Ant Edwards and Minnesota T-Wolves fans, I will also be equally upset that you picked the right player in that poll question.
Don't also sleep on my Minnesota Timberwolves Western Conference champion ticket that I got burning a hole in my pocket in my DraftKings account.
Yeah.
And
well, we both have tickets now because I got them at 6-1 to win the title.
I mean, I didn't go quite title. I just went conference finals, so you'd have one up on me there. I was genuinely excited for that game. I don't think any second-round series sniffs it. You
don't think Dallas, Oklahoma City could be just as... I think that series is actually going to go longer than this one.
I'm not telling you that it's not going to be a good series. I'm not telling you that some of the series will go longer. I'm just telling you in terms of storylines, you have the guy who I feel like is the up-and-coming face of the league. Now, maybe Shai Gilgeous will say something about that. Maybe it's Luka and Kyrie in Dallas. That's just how I feel about Ant Edwards. He's had one bad game in the postseason so far. They swept Phoenix out, and a lot of people picked Phoenix to win that series. And he went into Denver in game one in a team that felt inevitable. They blew basically an early 20-point lead after dominating the opening quarter. All of a sudden you look up and you're like, wait a minute, they're losing? How the hell did this happen? He was the only person that scored. I think he's that good and he's ready for this moment. And he's going against the defending champs who just feel like he can't beat him. So I think it has all the storylines. I was jacked for the game. And even as a Minnesota Timberwolves, not only plus 4.5, but money line better on Saturday, even I was pleasantly surprised with the way that he played. Like there's good games, then there's him basically carrying the team throughout the entire first half and then coming up with massive buckets late whenever they're needed to go for 42 and be 42 on 29 shots in his first big-time playoff game in the second
43,
round.
43, you're shorting him a
43,
point.
My apologies, 43 on 29 shots, dude. The efficiency, He has everything. He has all the it factors that you need, and I love watching him play.
You know what's crazy is it kind of went through my head, and I have to sometimes settle down. I'll be so into a game, and it's nice to not have like an emotional tie, but to having rooting interest is great. I'm like telling myself, am I watching 2007 LeBron? Am I watching 2011 Kevin Durant, OKC?
Yeah.
Like the obvious team that we think is going to win the conference, Pistons in 07, San Antonio in 2011. Suddenly these young stars come out of nowhere and have a moment. I don't know if they'll get past Denver. They have some matchup things that certainly favor them. If you told me this series, I had to stop myself from saying, I think this series could be done in 5.
Yeah, I'm not going there
I had
yet.
to pause myself.
I love my T-Wolves, but I'm not quite there yet.
I know, but between the two series, I won't be shocked if Dallas OKC goes 7 and this one doesn't. But again, let's be fair to the defending champions here.
They got a guy named Jokic on their team who's pretty good.
Not
they
bad.
They will bounce back with a better performance tonight. I have no doubt.
But see, it's not even him. They need performances from some of these other guys. KCP was not good.
How was Jamal Murray?
He was held scoreless for the first time in his postseason career and a half.
Oh, interesting.
That was the first time. It's another take that I'm like,
Are you telling me Basketball Dirt's just riding a heater right now?
Basketball Dirt might be the better basketball guy on the show.
I also hit my
very
Friday
upsetting.
parlay of the day with Magic, Mavs, and T-Wolves. I'm riding a basketball heater right now.
Here is Ant Edwards in the post game saying, I'm not here for an introduction.
We're just coming out to play. Yeah, it's not about introducing us to nobody. We know who we are. We don't care what people say or what people think about us. We're a collective group. We trust each other. It's all love between us, and we're well coached. So, we coming out, and as long as we got each other back, it don't really matter what anybody else think.
Rudy Gobert added as well, he's never been on a more connected team in his entire career. They are a team of unselfish guys who legitimately don't care who gets what credit, but I think it's all crystal clear. They all know he is the alpha in their wolf pack, as I wear my wolf sweatshirt today. And they are one of the more likable teams I've watched. I think Denver's in this. I think they're in this. Dallas looked like it, but it was also against the Clippers. I think OKC has some of this. It's interesting if you go through the playoffs. Let me ask you guys this. Who is the unlikable team left in the postseason? Because my definition of unlikable, it can vary from player to player and team to team. But when you're saying connected, plays for each other, sacrifice, acknowledging who the best player on their team is, can you name one left in the playoffs?
I feel like if you put a general population vote out there, Boston would probably win just because it's Boston.
They added 2 pieces, won 65 games. I don't know if you can say that about Boston.
Well, if you're saying like who's unlikable, isn't that what you asked who the unlikable team is that's left?
Well, I just think what all of these teams, every single one of them, and I'll even throw Indiana in that, don't they all just have kind of a general sense of team?
Yeah, there's definitely that vibe everywhere you turn.
And I enjoy watching that, and it's funny that everything left in the playoffs, you tend to sometimes get teams that you're like, oh, I hate this team, right?
Yeah.
I don't really have that in the playoffs. It's weird this year.
Yeah, I think it was Gunnarsson who had a tweet this weekend about Dallas, but it was Luka and Kyrie and how it's not an offense with 2 stars who run it as your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. Their synergy is great, and they always feed off of each other, and they run an offense that benefits both of them. They play a better brand of team basketball than just being, hey, Kevin Durant, you go cook. All right, Devin Booker, you go cook.
Yeah, you could see the
one-on-ones.
Yes, you could see the wonkiness in Phoenix, whereas you watch Dallas, they have 2 guys. But Josh Green helped save them in the first half against the Clippers because Luka and Kyrie couldn't hit a shot.
Totally. And you look at Minnesota winning that first game, Anthony Edwards is the story because of how dominant he was. But I also think the defense that they played on Jokic and the number of bodies that they could throw at him. This is with McDaniels, by the way, not making a shot. He was 0 in the starting lineup. But you have Connolly, who is a veteran point guard, who's been, to a million postseason games and series before, who's playing at a high level. You have Naz Reid, 6th man of the year, who was awesome in the second half of that game. Like, they're just a really well-built team, and you have to, in order to beat Denver, you got to be able to throw waves at Jokic. You just do. And so you can balance now. Karl-Anthony Towns is going to have some dumb fouls, and you're going to have to be careful there, but he can be a little more physical. Gobert has the length to do it, and then Reed can do it coming off the bench. So when you have 3 different guys that you can kind of throw at him in waves, he had a joke after the game where he was asked, how do you deal with 3 different big bodies? And Jokic said after the game, a clone of myself would help. Basically, just having another 7-footer out here because they have 3 different guys who are big who can guard him. Now, he's still going to go off, and he still ended up having a really good game. It's funny how we act like he was shut down. He had 32 points and 9 rebounds, but just making his life difficult and not making everything flow easily for him and for their offense, Minnesota's defense has the ability to do that.